Hello, Amy White with Worthy Written Words. Today we are going to be working in our Old Testament. We're going to be creating this He Meets Me layout. And before we get started in our actual book of scriptures, I want to work on the page topper first because it takes a long time to dry. So first, using the jewelry and metal glue that's in the kit and the two rocks that have come in your kit, they're going to fit sort of like a puzzle with a smaller one going on top of the larger one, and you want to glue them together with a lot of the glue. You don't necessarily want it spitting out the sides of the rocks, but you want enough that it'll hold tight. And then you're going to let that dry at least overnight. It's going to take a while. I try to speed mine up with the heat tool, but I would leave it for at least a day, maybe even two, before you come back to finish that. Now moving into our book, we're going to be in Genesis chapter 28. And I'm going to use some clear gesso because when you're using distress oxides, you don't have to use clear gesso, but I feel like it helps it to blend more easier. And this is not included in the kit. It's been included in previous kits. You can also get it on Amazon, and I'll have a link to my on the video below of what kind that I'm using here. And I just using a foam brush spread it all over my page, and this will protect. Distress oxides don't usually bleed through the page, but if you're using watercolors, it'll protect that from bleeding through the page, and then, as I said earlier, it'll help it to blend better. When that dries, I'm going to use washi tape to cover verses 15 through 18, and my page curled. Don't worry about that. It will flatten over time, and so I'm using more washi tape to just hold the page down since it's curled. And then using the distress oxides and a mini ink blending tool. The mini ink blending tool was in the Noah's Ark kit. So in this kit, you just get a new foam pad to use because you always want to use new foam pads for different colors of ink, so you don't want to blend them together. And I'm just going to apply this in a circular motion throughout the page, and I'm going to go over the entire page except for the bottom part of the footnotes because I know that that's going to be covered up with stickers. So this, you can go as heavy as you want or keep it light. The more layers you put on, the darker it will get until it reaches its maximum, and then it won't get any darker than that. Next, using a spray bottle, it can be any kind. I'm using a Distress sprayer. I'm going to spray water droplets all over the page, let it sit for a minute, and then using a paper towel, I'm going to put it on top of the water and let it soak up all the wet drops. And when you peel it back, you'll see that it's picked up that distress oxide and left a nice white splotchy distressed background for you. And then I'm going to take off all the washi tape. Using the rocks on your sticker page, all of the ones on the left hand side I use for my tower. You can kind of see how I put them in order of how I stacked them. So using all the extra rocks to the right of that, I'm just going to build a floor bottom, and I'm going to kind of keep the more muted colors in the back and then the more colorful ones on top. And you can cut them up and use some on the borders and just put it however you like. And when that's done, I'm going to cut off any excess that has gone over the page just with some scissors, and then we'll start building our tower. Working from the bottom and working our way up the sticker sheet, I'm going to build this tower of rocks on the side margin, and I don't want them overlapping too much because they're supposed to be resting right on top of each other. So you can use your judgment. I also try and make it so they aren't overlapping any of the words. So you can adjust the order of the rocks and where you want them placed based on what you like. Next, I'm cutting out the He Meets Me Where I Am stickers because I'm showing you could put them down below if you like that better, or up above. I put this together and then I changed it up a lot. So I'm going to show you how I ended up with what I ended up. So first, using the back side of the stickers, I can align them how I want them to go so they're nice and straight. And then I can put them on so I'm not just guessing. It's just a way to make sure they're centered and put exactly where you want them instead of just putting them on one at a time and hoping for the best. Next, when you go to put the big He stickers on, leave the H a little bit, they're always adjustable for a little while after you do it, but here I put the He on all the way and then I end up peeling it up later to put the tab behind it. So maybe either hold off on putting the He stickers on until you know exactly how you want to do the rest of your top, or just put it on really light so it won't be hard to peel it off. After your rocks glued together are done and they're really holding together well, I'm going to hot glue the paper clip and the felt to the backs. And I'm just going to curl my finger around it so that it's kind of holding them more in place. Now, because this is attaching hot glue to natural stone, I'm not sure how well this is going to hold up over time. So I'm putting it in a really good place in the very corner of my binding so that it doesn't affect the other pieces that are sticking up when I close it. And then I'm going to cover it using the sticker washi tape in my kit. Just ignore the stuff I'm covering up because that didn't end up being what I wanted to do. So you can see here how it's going to look when it's all done. I put the He Meets Me sticker tab behind the H on the He sticker, and then I cover it with the hearts. So this is what it looks like. And now when I go back to the video footage, it's going to look a little different because I ended up changing it later. So you don't have to do it the same way, but just in case you're wanting to, this is what it looks like. So once again, before you add these heart stickers, make sure you add the tab behind them. And then I'm just choosing stickers from the hearts that I like, the colors that I think will pop and will look good in that space. And here I am, you can see I'm having to pull it up. Just pull it up very carefully so that you don't crease the black ink, because it will show lines if you pull it up too often or too drastically. So ignore the top of this part of the layout. I'm focusing now on adding stickers where I want them on the side and on the top, but then also I'm also going to add the 3 word strip stickers along the bottom of the footnotes. And so that's what I'm showing here. The stickers on the side I didn't mess with, but obviously I did change the top, so you can ignore what I do on the top here. Now next I'm going to use a Sakura Glaze Jelly Roll pen in black. This is my favorite pen of all time, and I'm going to outline these heart stickers using that. And I'm also going to outline the stickers in the footnotes too that I put on. I also outline the scripture verses using this same pen. This pen, I usually try to include most things in your kit that you need, and this is completely optional. You don't have to have this pen to do this. But if you do want to invest in it, I think it's totally worth it. I use this pen on almost every single layout in one way or another. It's just my favorite. And they come in more than just black, they come in lots of different colors. So here I'm outlining all the hearts, and then I put those 3 word stickers on the bottom in my footnotes you can see, and I outline those as well. Be sure you let this gel pen ink dry before you start the next step. It lets out a lot of ink, and so if you're not careful, it can smudge easy if you start working somewhere else and forget about it. So be sure to let it be nice and dry before you move on to the next step. Next, I'm going to take a black colored pencil. This one happens to be a watercolor pencil, but it really doesn't matter. And we're going to add some shadowing to the bottom of the rocks. There's really no rules. I just put black colored pencil underneath each stone. I guess you can choose where you want the sun direction to come, whether it be straight up above or off to the side, and adjust your shadows to what you think the angles should be for that. So I went over and then I did it again, and I kept adding darker layers until I felt like it was the depth that I wanted it to be. I also decided to add a little coloring to the rocks, the gray rocks, by adding some speckles on them. And it was just doing some dots of varying sizes. It was nothing too sophisticated or crazy. So that's all that I did for this section. And if you want to copy what I did, you can, or you can try doing it from a different angle. And then at the bottom, I went underneath the last stone, both on the tower and then the one sitting right next to it, since they're right on the top pile of all the other rocks. And that's it. I hope you guys had fun. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.